It's the theatre of dreams, but not as you know it. We are the World Cup of dreams while the World Cup of North America goes on. But you have your usual lineup with a little addition, actually. Erin Carroll is here and Adam Gough is here, who's on work placement with Radio Walty this week, a student at St Ambrose, hoping to go on and do sports journalism. And no doubt an England fan as well. I'm assuming anyway, but you never know. Anyway, how are we, guys? Are we enjoying the World Cup?
Yeah, 100%. Really enjoying it so far. It was definitely a good night last night for, especially from an England perspective, but apart from that, really enjoying it.
We'll pick up on that because it was quite nice to see England actually win. I bet it a canter, even though they conceded two goals. What about you, Adam? What have you enjoyed it so far?
Yeah, I think most of the game's been really watchable and yeah, really entertaining. Obviously, England got off to a good start last night as well, which helps.
And we'll cover that because a lot of the smaller countries are doing all right, and we'll maybe cover why that is, and we'll talk about the football as well. But let's turn to England last night because, I don't know about you, I'm not English, right? But I support England and Northern Ireland, but Northern Ireland aren't in this competition. But is it just me, or do you always get a bit nervous watching England, regardless of who they're playing? Do you two get nervous watching England?
I do a little bit. Like, it probably wasn't as bad last night with it being the opening game because sort of in respect, if you're a big team in the World Cup, like England, if you have a setback, you can bounce back pretty quickly. Whereas with the sort of smaller nations, you can't really afford to do that. So it was probably, there was a little bit of nerves there having played Croatia. I think just about what feels like every major tournament in the last 6 years, we seem to draw them all the time. But I think once we got going yesterday, I don't think there was any sort of stopping us. The only thing that worried me, I don't know whether you agree with me, Adam, was the defence just didn't look comfortable at all.
Yeah, the defence looked really disjointed. I think it was the fact that Tuchel dropped players, like Harry Maguire, Lewis Hall, players that everyone thought would be going to choose this defence that haven't really played together for more than about 3 games. It's a big call, and obviously the fact that it was definitely the weakest part of the team last night. It's definitely going to raise some questions about why he chose the players he chose. So
So
yeah,
let's go through the team because it was obviously Pickford in goal. Then is it Reece James in right back?
Yeah,
And Konsa, remind me who Konsa plays for.
Aston Villa.
Villa.
Aston Villa, and then John Stones in centre back as well, from City. But has he now been released or
Yeah,
retired?
he's at the end of his contract, so he's gone now.
And then O'Reilly from City and left back. Then Anderson, who I have to admit I don't know well enough actually. Then Rice in midfield, and then a three of Medu. I always get this name right. Madueke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Bellingham, Gordon, and Kane. Formidable front four. What was going wrong in the defence? There didn't seem to be much coordination with them. They seem to be a bit open.
Yeah, I think they were. I think obviously what Adam's just said, it looked very disjointed in a team that hasn't really played together in many games. Obviously, I think everyone expected for Mark Gay to start last night as he started in the bulk of games for England. He's got a very well-established partnership with John Stones, having played with him at Club Up for the second half of the season, and he slotted in very well there. But I think it was the way he changed things that confused me a little bit last night. I didn't expect Konza to start. That shocked me a little bit. I didn't expect Anthony Gordon to start either last night. I'd have thought he'd have played Rashford or someone. I think Gordon was the only one I was sort of in that front line that I was quite disappointed with. He didn't really seem to create a lot at all. But I think just going back to the defence, it just seemed like anything that came their way, they couldn't handle it. It was like they were trying to clear it, but couldn't get it out. And another thing I noticed with Pickford is that he's so hesitant to catch the ball. He keeps punching it out, and it's causing problems.
Mm, mm. And that midfield pairing is well the back four pairing have they ever played together as a four?
I don't think they have, Adam. Am I right in saying I don't think they have?
No, I think they played together in that Costa Rica friendly, which was about that was the last game England played for the World Cup, and obviously that was a 3-0 win. It was really comfortable. And I think he's just, obviously why switch it, I suppose. But yeah,
Mm.
apart from that, it's not much. It's only a couple of games, really.
So the story of the match was, first of all, Kane's penalty, and it was a penalty, wasn't it? I thought it was a clear pen, but then the goalkeeper came off his line. Thankfully for Kane, it was picked up, and then a second goal. And I was watching him take the penalty, and he played the first one sort of. He went right of him, left of the post, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then you're always thinking, what are you going to do second time around? Will you do the same thing? And to be fair to him, he smashed it top right corner. It was a great pen the second time around, wasn't it?
I don't get why he didn't do that the first time. Did anybody else notice he did that silly little run up that they do
Yeah,
where they stutter? And it's like, no. But the thing is that got me with that, how you said the goalkeeper came off his line, that wasn't the offence that was picked up.
Oh, it
It
was
was
the other player
Josko
encroaching in
Gvardiol
the
comes
box.
yeah,
sprinting in,
Ah,
and then he picked it
yes.
up later that he'd come off his
Yes.
line. But
Yeah.
I don't understand why you do that silly little run up. Surely your first instinct is just to run up and leather it.
But do you think, I mean, Harry Kane's taken so many penalties. He scored, was it 50 odd, more than 50 goals for England now
Mhm.
in 70 appearances, something like that. But do you think he might have been just a little bit nervous 12 minutes into the game, and he hadn't got the feel of it, do you think?
I don't know, because I think those first opening sort of 15 minutes before that, while that penalty was all being done, I think we did look a bit shaky. I don't
Mm.
think we kind of really sort of got ourselves into it until a bit later on. And I think the only thing that would probably make him nervous about taking that is a retake, because you're thinking, do I go
Yeah,
the same way? Is he going to
yeah,
guess the second
yeah,
time? Or do I go the other way?
yeah.
And Adam, I don't know whether you thought this as well, but I think he looked a lot more confident the first time up than he did the second, even though the second one he scored.
yeah. I agree. He definitely. I suppose Hurricane he barely misses a pen, doesn't he? Especially for England, it's really really rare. And about that whole stutter thing, I don't get that at all because it just takes away that advantage you have on the goalkeeper. And also, recently you had those in that Champions League final, the two Arsenal players that missed were doing the stutters. I don't get it at all. It
Mm.
completely kills the momentum advantage you have on the goalkeeper.
And then he scores again on the 42 minutes. Now, I have to admit, I can't remember what this goal was like at all.
It's from a corner.
Ah, yes.
See, the thing is, Rod, I've been on the podcast with you all season, and I have absolutely battered Arsenal for their corners all season long. But I must say, when Declan Rice is taking a corner for your team or for your country,
You like it?
it feels quite nice.
It
It
feels
feels quite
it
nice.
feels reliable, doesn't it?
It does, and I've absolutely battered them all season long for that and said how boring it is and how unfootball like it is. But I think last night, I don't know. I think there was something about it last night. I didn't expect it to go as well as it did because we never, like England traditionally do not score from set
But,
pieces. It just does not
do you
happen.
know? It's obviously I'm probably less emotionally attached because I'm Northern Irish, but I've lived here so many years. I always support England in any international tournament. I I have this very, very clear confidence at the moment because I think so many things are different about the setup. There isn't the same niggliness across the squad. I think Tuchel is not as emotional and therefore doesn't get caught up on that. And all these, I mean, when you look at who came off the bench, right? When you can bring on Saka, when you can bring on Rashford, you can bring on Rodgers, you can bring on Mark Gahey. That's they would slot into the 11 dead easy.
Yeah.
And they came on, and I think they made a bit of a difference last night. And Rashford getting the goal in 85 was good because it shows that he can come off the bench and score. But let's just turn to Croatia because I should have mentioned that Bacerina scored on 36, and then Musa turned up the pressure, if you like, getting a goal and second for Croatia in the fifth minute of time added on, leaving it at 2-2. But that wasn't the end of the story because I think the way that England came out, Bellingham getting the goal early in the second half, it just eased the fears. Do you not think?
I genuinely wish to have been a fly on the wall in that dressing room at half time because I don't know what he said to them, but whatever he said, it worked.
It did.
And I don't know whether anybody else saw this, but I don't agree with it personally, where they do the interviews at half time.
Yeah.
I
Did
don't
they
agree.
do that?
Yeah, they did that with was it the assistant coach they did?
Yeah, I think it was Tuchel's number two.
Tuchel's number two, and he come out and said that they weren't happy with how they played first half. They needed to do this better, and I think anyone you watched it, didn't you, Adam? And
Yeah.
his interview. I don't know what they said at half time, but what he said in his interview matched exactly what they did second half.
Hmm.
I was watching the game. I was watching the game live, but I must have gone to make a cup of coffee or something or grab a beer. I hadn't seen that that's the thing in this World Cup. All right, okay.
I don't think I've seen it. Has anyone else seen it in any other game? Because I feel like that's the first game I've seen it in.
Yeah, I haven't seen any others.
I mean, I
I,
don't
I
know.
mean, I mean, I mean, it's interesting because if you look at the match momentum graph after halftime, for a good, I would say, 15 minutes of the game, it was all England. The momentum was there, and actually, for the vast majority of the second half, it was all England. And even in the first half, Croatia seemed to have spurts of impact, but not any prolonged period of possession or impact, actually, England, I thought, I mean, you could say, are Croatia the team that they used to be? They're probably not. They've got an slightly aging profile, but I think England managed the game very well in the second half, and the fact, as I said, he could bring on those subs and add to it and give them a bit of leg time as well. I think job done.
It's good, isn't it? And I mean, last night, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me, that 15 minutes that England had, I where they were sort of peppering Croatia's goal. I don't know what that goalkeeper was on before the game, but my God, he was incredible last
Yeah,
night.
Yes.
So, so good.
yeah.
And I was getting frustrated. Just how is he saving that?
Livakovic, isn't it? I don't know who
Yeah.
he plays for.
He Fenerbahce, I think.
Does
Yeah,
he?
he's he's on loan back at Dynamo Zagreb in Croatia. That's where he spent the bulk of his career, I think.
Hmm.
But as you said, they've got a slightly aging profile. I think when I was listening to it yesterday, and this is again what I liked about the coverage of the World Cup this year, is that ITV have been dropping in these little stats here every now and then that will stick with you. And I think Croatia had, I think it was the second oldest squad by
Really?
average at the
Wow.
World Cup. I don't know who it is that tops it, but I think they had the second oldest. And Luka Modric, I want to point out as well, this will be
Hmm.
his last World Cup. Didn't really, his last game against England probably wasn't really a fairy tale ending for him, was it? He was subbed off quite early on the second half.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Right. So that was England, and personally, I think a great start. Let's just talk about who they play next in their group. Just remind me who's in their group.
It's Ghana next week, and then we've got Panama to finish.
Okay. Now, I mean, I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but we would have said before that that game against Croatia was probably their hardest game. Would you not think?
Yeah.
yeah.
So that is
I don't
cool.
know though, because there's a little bit in me. Like, I watched a bit of Ghana Panama last night. Like, I only watched the first half of it. But the thing that gets me is that a lot of the teams that probably aren't ranked as high as, say, Croatia and England, they tend to just sit back and defend. And that's
Mm,
something traditionally we don't cope very well with. We can't seem to break that down. So
yeah,
I would argue that yes, Croatia's the hardest team in terms of ability wise with the players that they have. But I think someone like Ghana or Panama is going to cause us a lot of issues when they just sit back and defend.
Mm.
yeah. Also, on that as well, I think England looked the best against Croatia when we were counter-attacking, when
Yeah.
Croatia were pressing really high, and if they had the ball really high. And, you'd see like Kane dropping in deep and spraying it out wide to Madueke, who I actually thought had a really good game. And yeah, that point about how other teams are going to, example like Cape Verde against Spain, sit back and defend. We're not going to be able to do that counter-attacking thing. Kane probably won't drop as deep against teams like that. So yeah, I agree that will be a real that'll be a real test. So I think we'll find that much more difficult.
Right. Okay. Let's just go pan out a little bit and talk about the tournament as a whole, because there's been one or two high goal score lines. Germany, I think, was one, but a lot of the games have been reasonably tight. What have you made of the tournament so far? Have you enjoyed the football?
There's been certain games that I've not been a fan of massively that have been, say, like a snooze fest. Really,
What?
Portugal Congo
Mm.
wasn't a great game.
That yes, yeah.
Ronaldo had a stinker as well.
Yeah,
He seemed to be like the only one of the big players that didn't actually seem to do anything on the first match day. So like
yeah,
Kane scored two, Messi scored a hat trick in the first game, Haaland scored twice.
yeah.
It
Mbappe.
just Mbappe as well. His second goal against Senegal was something to behold. I think everyone was just thinking, "Oh right, Senegal can get back into it." No, wasn't going to happen.
On the whole Portugal thing, I mean, he's 41, isn't he?
Mhm.
I mean, you've got to say that no matter how fit and well he looks after himself, the years do catch up with you.
Yeah.
And do you not think they've picked him either because of profile and because of leadership and that type of thing, or is he really undroppable? Will there have been too much noise?
I don't know. I feel like there probably would have been a considerable amount of noise. It's kind of like if Messi had been left out of the Argentina squad, you'd never hear the end of it. But the thing is, though, he's had a somewhat decent season in
Yeah.
the Saudi League again, but I don't know whether that's. I think the leadership is one bit of it, but I think the leadership, you can't rely on that entirely. You've got to be able to make an impact, and I'm gonna say I don't recall yesterday many times where he actually did something impressive. I know that he's famous for doing all these sort of step overs and stuff, and he's been doing that since he was what a kid at United. But
Mm.
I don't know whether you guys agree, he just didn't seem to make an impact whatsoever yesterday, and it seemed like the other Portugal players, like João Neves, when he scored yesterday, made a bigger impact than what he
Like,
did.
is John Evans at PSG?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, so he scored on 6 minutes, and then Wisa plays in the Premiership, does he not?
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Oh, well,
This is
Newcastle.
another thing about Congo's team that I didn't realise that there was a few of the players that played on there. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he was
Yeah,
Yes.
part of the missing. I didn't know he played for them.
Yeah.
And Axel Twanzebe, because I
yeah,
remember them in the England youth teams.
yeah.
Was there not something where Tronzevi had a chance to pick, and he chose the Congo? Yeah, specifically because he was part of the England youth setup. I'm sure he was.
Yeah, yeah. It was I think for both him and Tuanzebe and Wan-Bissaka, it was the case that they both weren't ever going to play for England really. And I think it was fairly recent, to be fair, with the pair of them, because I'm sure Wan-Bissaka about 2 years ago was still technically English. And I think it's a more recent thing. But yeah,
That's an old Irish trick, by the way, isn't it? I mean, that's how the Republic of Ireland did so well for many, many years. I mean, as a national fan, does it ever bother you when players almost, if you like, swap identity, but out of convenience to play in the World Cup? Do you think actually Congolese people are that bothered that Wan-Bissaka and Tuanzebe probably never hardly stepped in the country before they were picked?
I don't think it does.
No.
Like for me, it doesn't really bother me. Like if you look at some of the players that have done it in the past, I think there was one. There's a story that I remember reading before the World Cup, and some people it does bother them, other people it's not. Personally, I'm not bothered. If you want to switch nationality because you've got a better chance of playing, you know you're not going to play for said country, do it. Football isn't a lifelong career. It's very short. You've got to do what you want to do. But there was a story. I think it was Haiti. There was
yeah,
one of them. He was called up, and I think
yeah.
is he French?
Yeah, it was Edward, wasn't it, who used to play for Palace? Who, yeah, and it was the one, wasn't it? He said that he'd never played there before, so it was like let the players who actually are from Haiti play in the World Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said he didn't want to take the opportunity away from those who had worked hard to qualify. He said he felt it'd be unfair for him to just walk in
Yeah,
and
and
have not contributed.
yeah, and actually the funny thing about that as well is in the Haiti Scotland game, Haiti created so many chances as well. You think actually if Edward was on the pitch, he
He'd have
surely
finished.
would have scored one of them, which is yeah,
I
I
think
do a
as
bit
well,
of. Sorry, go on.
as well with have we seen, is it Curacao when they played Germany? Tahith Chong was
Yeah.
the only one in that squad to have actually been born on the island. The rest of them are all of Dutch descent.
Oh
We're all
wow.
born in the Netherlands.
Uh,
But it. I want to. They were under Netherlands rule for quite a while,
They
weren't
were. They
they?
were. I think they were Dutch colonies, so they were. So
Yeah.
I have to say, Curacao. I never know how to pronounce that, by the way. I think I've called it Caraco and all sorts of stuff. I want to do a shout out for Austria and to Herbert Mayer, who's a big listener to the podcast. They were playing Jordan in their opening game. It's the first World Cup win since 1990 for Austria.
Oh, wow.
So they
Wow.
won 3-1 over Jordan, and gets them off to a good start in that Group J game. And Argentina, probably very predictable, but it was a Messi hat trick. My goodness, over Algeria.
This was controversial though, because he should have been sent off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't seen this. Tell me.
So, go on, Adam. I'll let you take this one.
It was just like he basically like he caught an Algerian defender and his studs basically went down the back of his leg, and it was one of the ones where it was any other player surely would have been sent off. It was like I personally think it was purely because he's Messi that he stayed on the pitch.
Do you remember the one, Rod? Do you remember the one with Kai Havertz when he did it?
Yeah,
When he literally stood on the back of someone's car,
yeah, the Burnley game.
Burnley game, and he didn't get sent off. That
Yeah.
was the exact same. But the thing that got me was the way the Algerian defender's ankle moved afterwards. His ankle got stuck in the ground and it moved. It
I
moved really nasty.
Yeah.
I remember saying so. It was Aïssi Mandi was the Algerian the player who Messi caught. Now it was Messi's. He's the first player to play in 6 World Cups, by the way. But I think most people think he was lucky to escape some form of punishment. Did he get a yellow card even?
No, got nothing.
Wow.
Do you think that's a
Did you see what the
Messi-ism?
Algerian defender put on his Instagram afterwards?
No.
No.
He put out he put out on I think he got taken down very quickly, but someone managed to get a screenshot of it and post it. He basically said that the referees need to do better. The whole world is watching. If my ankle had have broken in that game, the man who would have done it would have walked away with no punishment. Do better.
Oh wow.
He's gone out and absolutely blasted the officials.
Well,
Got taken down fairly quick, but it was I know being official myself, you're probably not supposed to. I would have agreed with him. There should have been some form of action taken against Messi for that. But as we said, he's FIFA's golden boy, isn't he?
well, and he
Send
got
him
player
on.
of the match.
Ronaldo is FIFA's golden boy as well. He should have been suspended for that Congo
Yeah.
game. He shouldn't have
Yeah.
played.
Why was that?
He was sent off in his last international game, but FIFA waved it away.
Against Ireland, he elbowed the defender in the head.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, I mean, that's not on, is it? I mean, it does. I mean, I know FIFA want their golden kids there. I mean, is it that they're untouchable almost, do you think?
Pretty much, but also another thing that came as a result of that, because his was waved away and he was allowed to play in that first game. Do you know Moises Caicedo that plays for, is it Ecuador?
Yeah, Ecuador.
Ecuador. He also got sent off in his last international game, but because they'd waved away the red card for Ronaldo, they had to do it for him as well in order to have not sort of got pulled up on it.
Well, in that game,
It's so strange.
in that game, Argentina versus Algeria, Messi was man of the match or player of the match, I should say, by some distance, 8.99 he rated, and after that it was DePaul. Their number 7 was 6.93. So regardless of whatever he did, he's still the star man of Argentina. Let's go back to other results in the World Cup. I'm just trying to look here. Iran 2, New Zealand 2. Now, Iran, obviously, lots of controversy over their presence at the World Cup, but that hasn't impacted them. They 2-2, 1-1 at half time. France, a lot of people would fancy France for the win. And again, Senegal I think, was a French colony, I think. But Mbappe gets a brace and Barcola gets a goal. And Mbeya scored for Senegal late in the second half, but France goes through 3-1. And Norway, Haaland, is this Haaland's first ever time at a World Cup?
It is. It's his first ever time at a major tournament with his country.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's never been to one.
Right. Okay. Well, they beat Iraq 4-1. It was reasonably easy cruising in the second half. 2-1 though at half time. What did you make of this? Because it wasn't. Holland scores a brace, but I didn't think it was all the Holland show. Personally, the highlights I saw.
It wasn't. I mean, the thing is that you've kind of become accustomed to it. It's never really the Haaland show in any game he scores in. It's
Mm.
not unless he's scored maybe 3 or 4 goals in a game, then yes, it is. But it was traditional Haaland style finishes, wasn't it? Right place, right time. The first one especially. I thought the move from Norway itself was really good. The ball across the face of goal, and he was again slid in right place, right time. But how many times have you seen him do that over the years with City, with Dortmund, with whoever he's played for? He's always been able to make that sort of quick run. But it was his second goal that got me. It was a terrible, terrible back pass from the Iraq defence to his goalkeeper. I mean, if you see Haaland charging at you at full speed like
Oh,
this,
the
shoulders
fear.
out, I think you just go, you know what, mate? You can have it. You can have the ball. You can have it. And I'm not basing that.
Do you think the ground trembles as he comes towards you? Because it does feel like a Viking army is coming towards you, doesn't it?
I don't know. I think the goalkeeper went to clear it, didn't he? And it just bounced off his leg
Yeah.
and went in. There's one goal it reminds me of, and this is again from a women's game, Rod. It happened in a Manchester derby. Mary Earps and Bunny Shaw. Bunny Shaw just come thundering towards her. She kicked it and it just went straight off her legs and in.
Well, it just reminds me of when you were a kid playing football and I was terrible with the best player, and you're in defense because you're always in defense when you're
You just
poor.
go, have it.
And you just go there, you go, I'll not stop you. Let's just mention the Scots because they made their first appearance in the World Cup since 1990, and I don't think there's many Scottish people left in the country. They're out there in force, and I heard them
Oh, they're
saying.
brilliant though.
Wasn't it? I heard them sing the Flower of Scotland before their game against Haiti in Boston, and it was fantastic, wasn't it?
Have you guys seen them as well? They took over a baseball stadium the other day. There were thousands of them that descended on, is it Fenway Park?
Yes, Fenway
Boston
Park.
Red Boston Red Sox. There were thousands of them. There must have been about 200 of them walking through the streets of Boston with bagpipes for a start, and the other thousand of them following behind. And I don't think Americans have said they've never seen an atmosphere like it at a baseball game.
Well,
Yeah, but
go
I'd
on.
I would say it wasn't quite as many Scottish fans, but I'd seen something where they'd rented out this Airbnb in America
I've
and
seen
obviously
this.
decorated with a bunch of Scottish flags. And then about like 5 o'clock in the morning, stepped outside of the house, and it's just in this normal, average like American street. And they get out their bagpipes and start absolutely blasting it. I feel like it's
Did
just
you
like these
did you see
cameras.
they made friends with the neighbour
Oh, I
across
hadn't
the
seen
road?
that. Oh, I wouldn't have made friends with the bars and they'd be fuming.
They made friends and they actually got him a ticket to the game.
Oh wow.
They took him with them.
Well, you know what they're saying? They're saying no Scotland, no party, no party.
Have you seen as well? Have you ever seen the clip of the slide in Boston that the police officer basically come flying out of? And
No.
no, Scotland fans have made that their own sort of treasure because obviously that's where they're based, isn't it? There was a very viral clip of a police officer going down a slide in Boston, and he went tumbling down it, bashed off either side, and come out of it flying, and basically fell flat on his face.
Well, my
And
my
all
mate
these,
who lives
and all
out
these
there.
Scottish fans have found it, and they're going down it. Going down it is hilarious to watch.
My mate who lives out there in New York has got his nephew over. A big shout out to Alan Kennedy, huge Scotland fan, big Rangers fan. Still gets back to the Rangers despite living in America for 20 plus years. But they're having a fantastic time. He's sharing lots of photographs with me, and it really is no Scotland, no party. And let's talk about. Do you think there are any dark horses surfacing? Because the favourites for this tournament, I'm just bringing it up here. The favourites for this tournament are whom at the moment?
Favourites, I would have gone with Spain as one of mine, but then again, they really didn't impress me against Cape Verde the other night. They really did not impress me
Mm.
at all.
Oh, that I was in Spain. I was coming back from Valencia,
Your
And
text message made me laugh.
what did I
You,
say? I can't remember.
you said you were in the airport and the game had been on, and all the Spanish people were absolutely sat there in shock.
They were. They were. I mean, you talk about like a nation mourning. It really was. Um,
They were awful.
yeah, and have you actually seen that a manager has been sacked?
Tunisia's manager.
Yes.
I saw he didn't have the greatest of starts, did he? He got battered. Absolutely. Was it 5-1?
Yeah, 5-1
By
by
Sweden.
Sweden.
Have you seen who's been appointed though?
Yeah, Herbie Renard.
Yeah. That's a big appointment. That apparently the first thing he's done is absolutely blast them for the performance, saying, "How dare you perform so badly? Your fans have paid copious amounts to be here. You've got to show up for them." And it's like, oh, okay,
So apparently, top favorites are France.
makes
Maybe
sense.
Mbappe has that. Brazil, obviously, they're always thought of.
I wouldn't have put them up there, you know.
No, they were awful against Morocco. They were very, very lucky that Morocco didn't really have their shooting boots on, because
Yeah,
there was a point in that first half, and maybe that hydration break sort of helped them out a bit because it kind of killed Morocco's momentum. But they could have really like that. They could have been 3-0 up by that point. They really were poor.
Morocco's goal as well. The defense were in shambles for that. It was
Yeah,
literally a ball over the top. He latched onto it and chipped the keeper. But you look through social media, don't you, after the game and stuff, and what people are saying, and some of the tweets that have come out. There was one in particular that sticks out in my mind from a Brazilian fan saying 20 years ago or so, we wouldn't have even taken this squad to the Olympics with us.
Really?
That's how bad they're feeling
I
about
mean, it's really weird their squad, isn't it? Because you look at their attack, and it's just mental when you compare it to like 20 years ago when they had, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and now they've got obviously Vinicius Junior and Rafinha, Barcelona, Real Madrid, two of the best players in the world, and then you've got Igor Thiago from Brentford and Ryan from Bournemouth. It's like how like that is absolutely mental that they're on the same level.
The one
Well,
thing that gets me is I don't see the point of taking Neymar. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, I loved watching him when I was little, but he's not the same player. And also, you've basically cost a place for someone who's fit and ready and who's had a good season. I feel sorry for João Pedro
I
at
was going to say
Chelsea.
that. Yeah, João
I feel
Pedro was
very
really
sorry for
unlucky.
him.
Yeah, especially when you see that Igor Thiago had such a poor game against Morocco. João Pedro, surely if he was there instead, would have had like he would have created much more of a difference, you would have think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Mhm. So favorites for the tournament are France on 4-1, Spain 5-1, England 6-1, Argentina 8-1, Portugal 9-1, and probably traditionally Brazil have to feature at 11-1. So and then in terms of golden boot, it says Mbappe 11-2. This is Paddy Power, by the way. Paddy Power. Michael Lacy 6-1. Lionel Messi 6-1. Harry Kane 8-1. Lamine Yamal at 10-1, and Haaland at 16-1. That's actually there's good money there. 16-1 to be had. So let's talk about the tournament overall. And actually, I want to talk about the water breaks. Okay. I have to confess, because I was away the weekend, I didn't watch all the games all the way through. I've been watching highlights, and I hadn't sat there through a water break. Now they're averaging about what 2-3 minutes.
I think it's longer. I think it's longer than that now. I think
Was
it's
it
Yeah,
England on 5 minutes maybe?
yesterday in the England game, it felt so long. And
yeah,
the half time felt really long as well.
yeah. England waited before getting back onto the pitch.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
So what do you make of the water breaks? I mean, last night it was the roof was covered over. I can't imagine it was
He had
awfully
aircon
hot.
on as well.
So, but I guess the problem is that you've got to apply it consistently, because there's no, you can't just, I didn't know whether they could take a temperature check and say, well, if the temperature doesn't go over, say, 26, 28 degrees, there's no water breaks. And it's only if it gets a certain level, you take a water break. But then I can imagine some clubs would turn around and say, well, that's unfair. You apply it or you don't apply it. So, do you think I've heard that one thing I'd love to look at actually is the number of goals scored by a team who wasn't dominating before the water break?
Yeah, I would love to look at that. But the thing that gets me is that a lot of players are now speaking out about it and saying, look, this is ridiculous.
Mm.
It's not like Van Dijk. I agreed with what he said. It should be done on a game by game basis.
Right.
depending on temperature. It
Yep.
shouldn't be implemented. I'm going to say it. It doesn't fit. I don't think it's a water break at all.
No,
It's an ad break.
It
there
is
was
exactly that.
there was one game, I don't know which game it was actually. It might have been the Netherlands game that Van Dijk was complaining about, where they actually they prolonged the kickoff again to finish showing their advert.
Yeah.
Which is just that's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, they did, and it's shameful.
Mm.
Is what it is. But as well, I want to go back to the Germany Curacao game. Curacao got themselves back into that at 1-1, and they were relatively getting a bit of momentum, I thought, in that one. And then come this hydration break.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if I was a Curacao player or fan, my head would be on Mars after that because they lost every single bit of momentum and then they just went on to get absolutely pummeled.
Mm.
You'd feel so angry in a sense that had happened. I mean, in some cases, it's lucky for teams because they're getting a bit of a break out of it.
But could they not resolve this issue about it being a technical break? Because ultimately it's a TV break. We know that, right? But actually take away from the whole technical update type thing by saying actually the coaches can't go near the team. You just basically bring some water. The team and the captain get together, but the coaches can't actually sit in there.
That's not a bad shout, actually. I
mean,
I like that.
And
I mean, yeah, and also
do it in the center of the pitch.
yeah, when you look at the example again of the Germany Curacao game, that water break because it was it was a time for the Germany manager Nagelsmann to kind of like Curacao or Germany right where they want them. They were really all over the place, and there was a chance for the manager to sort of organise them again, restructure them, and so obviously once that happened, Germany were fine and they absolutely pummeled them.
Yeah, and if you look at that particular match and you look at the match stats, when the water breaks happened, then Germany came back and scored goals nearly after each one. What about the officiating? What have you thought about that and the use of VAR? Because I have to say I haven't seen that much of it, but Erin, what do you reckon?
Some of it's been good, some of it's been shocking. I think let's go to the Mexico game first of all, the opening game.
Yeah.
That I don't think I have ever been more entertained by an officiating performance like that in a long time. And also, the referee was very familiar because he was the one that England had against France in Qatar 22,
Oh
when
God,
we
was that
claimed we
him?
should have had 2 or 3 penalties and
Yeah.
that weren't given. It
And
was
that's
him.
Wilton
I had no idea
Pereira
that was him.
Pio.
Yeah, the thing that got me was the first one. Yeah, was definitely a red card. He's pulled him down. I will say though that is it Sitole?
But yeah, he had a horror show, didn't
He had a horror show, and I felt really sorry for him
he?
because
Yeah.
he's just getting slandered all over the place for his performance.
The funny thing is with that guy as well, you look at the South Africa team, a lot of them are in leagues you never heard of. That guy plays in the Portuguese First Division. So he should have been one of their best players. It was really weird when I found that out.
Do you think he sent them off to the relief of commentators because they were trying to say Sittle in a appropriate way?
I don't know. I think a little bit of it. He just didn't have a very good game at all. I don't know whether it's your nerves that get the better of you in that one. It's a big game. It's the opening game. It's the same opening game that we had 16 years ago.
80,000
Yeah.
people in Mexico City Stadium.
I will say that the Azteca is an absolutely breathtaking stadium. Wow.
Yeah.
But again, just moving on to it, the second red card.
For Swain.
No, for South Africa.
It was two.
I don't know.
Yeah, the play was one.
What was he thinking? Why would you go around and slap someone around the face? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
The fact the ref didn't pick it up either, and he goes to VAR, and then the explanation wasn't the world's greatest explanation. I don't think he really. Obviously, that's a lot of pressure. That 80,000 people, and obviously, have you seen the photo now of I think it's South Africa's captain?
Yeah.
He stood there and he's like, and then they pan over to the guy that's been sent off, and his face just goes.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't make out what he's saying.
They couldn't work out what he was saying. And it was, I don't understand why you would slap someone round the face and why you would think you would get away with that. There's cameras all over the place. You never,
Yeah, it's mental.
maybe 10 years ago you'd get away with that had it not have been seen.
So I think I'm right in saying it was the well, it was certainly colourful. I think that might have been the first red cards in an opening game in the World Cup. I think it's the only game so far that's had any red cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, I think.
It's I think the only game in World Cup. This might be wrong, but I think the only game in World Cup history that's had more red cards than that was that Portugal. Was it Portugal Netherlands? The one
Yes.
around like yeah. I think that might have been the only. I think that's the only game that's had more red cards. I could be wrong, but
I think he equaled the record. I think there was three in that one.
yeah. It was ridiculous, wasn't it?
So
I don't think Mexico was a sending off.
No, that was harsh. That was super harsh. It was
I think the commentators were as surprised as we were because they were like, "Oh, it's." I think was it Ali McCoy said it was a good foul to give away, and then he
Yeah.
got out the red card. And he was like, "What?"
so let's look at the starts they've had. Obviously, most we've had one game in every group now, from A to L. Sorry, with England's group, and we're going to be starting now on the second games. Who has had a good start? Who has surprised you? And who do you think's got most work to do?
I thought Bosnia had a decent start. Obviously Canada. That's their first World Cup point. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from them, but I thought Bosnia played relatively well in that game. Obviously they've been waiting, is it 12 years to qualify again? I think the last one they wrapped was
Yeah.
2014.
2014, yeah.
They had a decent game. I think one who has surprised me in how well they started was the lower nations have surprised me. Like Cape Verde really surprised me.
I mean, that's
That goalkeeper,
huge.
that goalkeeper was absolutely unbelievable.
40
Yeah.
years of age. I mean,
Yeah.
you need a story like that. I think I said this on the pod earlier on this week, but you need a story like that. That's like Northern Ireland being in the World Cups in the 1980s, and keepers. You need your keeper to be heroic, don't you, when you're that sort of country,
Yeah, 100%. I think Norway started well.
Mm-hmm.
Spain,
4-1.
the ones that disappointed me, Spain didn't seem to do a lot.
Yeah.
No.
France a little bit disappointed me in that Senegal game. It was only the second half that they really started to get going. The first half was absolutely horrific. That is 45 minutes of my life I'm not getting back anytime soon. Germany, can't really say too much because it was no disrespect to Curacao. They're probably one of the lower ranked nations, so it's not really a fair judgment. They've not played anyone big. I didn't watch the US.
No, they look good.
Oh, really?
I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights, and just the goals they scored were absolutely brilliant.
And you know what? That's actually, I always think it's important that we obviously have three host nations, but for the US, a host nation to do well, it helps with the tournament. You don't think?
Yeah, it does. I think Mexico were decent when they played the other night, but it wasn't really anything sort of special.
I think the team that I was probably the most surprised by was Congo against Portugal, because
Yeah.
as much as obviously Portugal had a big off day, but I actually don't think they like. I think part of the reason they had an off day was because of just how well. I know they're one of those teams that sort of sat back, but they defended so well, and going forward, they were so energetic. That Wissa from Newcastle, who's been injured all season, looked like he was absolutely rapid. That they could have scored more than one, at least Congo. I think they and realistically in these groups, because there's so many teams now, and because basically every third place team, almost every single one, the team that finishes third are going to make it out. All you really need is to win one game, and you're basically through.
And looking at the game in terms of match stats, Portugal had 7 shots, and Congo had 8 shots. And the XG for Portugal was 0.64 and it was 0.82 for Congo. So, Congo gave as good as they got, even though Portugal had over 75% of possession. It's what you do with it when you have it, really.
Exactly.
So there you go. Let's talk about what's coming up then in the tournament in terms of fixtures. So today it is the 18th of June, and we're recording this at just at coming up to midday. The next game will be Czech Republic versus South Africa in Group A. And so far this morning, Ghana played Panama. Panama, sorry, that was 1-0. Uzbekistan had played Colombia. Colombia won that 3-1. So the Czech Republic are up next against South Africa. And any guesses as to how that goes? Got to go, guys.
Czech Republic, I think, win that for me.
Me too. Me too. What about yourself, Adam?
Oh, I mean, South Africa have got to get their act together after that first game, and yeah, I agree. I think Czech Republic are going to comfortably win that.
They're two players down already, though, aren't they? Now with two suspensions.
Yeah,
That's two
yeah.
of your starting 11 gone.
Of course. And then tonight it's Switzerland versus Bosnia Herzegovina. That's a tight game, I think. And then 11 o'clock tonight it's Canada and Qatar. Ooh, Canada, Qatar. Ooh.
That's a decent set of games though for
It
tonight.
is.
Like I mean, that's three I can sit and watch in the living room. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
And actually the football has been quite open at times. You know, it's okay, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I would have loved to have watched Uzbekistan Colombia last night. That seemed like a really entertaining
Oh
game.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, being a City fan, I'd want to watch it for Kuzanov, its first World Cup. And the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning is he got booked for wiping out Luis Diaz whilst
Oh,
also
right.
two-footing a cameraman at the same time.
There's the clip from the cameraman's perspective, and you just see his camera getting absolutely launched. And then it pans out to see this like Luis Diaz just in a crumpled heap by the corner flag, and the cameraman in a crumpled heap about like 10 yards away.
Kuzanov's just like that. Not my fault.
Yeah.
That was Anthony Taylor as well that refereed that one.
Yes, it was. It came up on our Radio Multi chat today that Taylor was on that, and not the easiest of games necessarily to do. And can I ask, what have you made of the stadiums? Because that was Mexico City, that was the Azteca, that's not 80,000. But what have you made of the stadiums overall?
I've been really impressed with them. I think obviously everyone sort of talked about the ticket prices, how they say they'll be empty. They haven't. It surprised me. The Azteca for me is my favourite, just personally because of the history that it's got, and a little bit of a fact was that it's hosted the most World Cup games out of any stadium ever. I think it's like 18 or 19 now. But the one that England played in, yes, I think the one that surprised me most is the one in Atlanta, the Mercedes-Benz, which is basically like a big complex with a big roof on it. It looks really cool. But the one England played in yesterday really surprised me. I mean, that's got a capacity of what, 108,000?
Wow.
And that's not even where the final's being played.
I actually think that the stadium I've sort of been disappointed with the most. I think they've all been absolutely stunning. The one I actually think I've been disappointed with the most is the one that's holding the final, which is the one that Brazil, Morocco played and France and Senegal played in. And when France played there, the pitch was
The
like
pitch
yellow.
is terrible.
Yeah, it was really patchy. The ball was bouncing all funny. It was like, you saw in the first half, like France could barely take a good touch. It was like, I actually don't, I'm not sure about that one being the final, but
I'd have had it at the Azteca.
yeah, easily.
He's hosted two World Cup finals already previously.
I think it might be two, yeah.
It's got that history. It's got that sort of aura around it. Why not host it there?
I must admit, I would almost like to go just for some of the stadiums as well, to see it. And they're all big capacity stadiums. I mean, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey is 82,500 people. It looks spectacular, by the way.
I don't get why he wouldn't host it at somewhere bigger though. Surely 82,000. Like England played in a stadium with a capacity of 108,000 last night, and that was near enough pretty much full. And that was just for a group stage game. Think about the finals going to be in such high demand.
It's huge, but then do you know what? There'll be other things like it's about the average price they can pay, and therefore who's going to travel to pay that price and that type of thing. I bet you.
Have you been on Celebrity Watch with the amount of people that have been there? One thing that got me last night is when I was watching the England game is there were so many funny things about it. So basically, England fans booed the hydration break until the stadium pretty much shook last night. And every time, obviously, when they pan over to like the celebrities.
All the fans were hilarious.
All the fans were booing. They were booing all the celebrities as they went through them. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
nah.
who would blame them, really? You know, who would blame them?
Have you
And
also, have you
go on.
also, this is a good stat. Well, I don't know whether it's a good stat. England fans in Texas last night went to a pub, right?
Oh no.
They drank the whole place dry and consumed over 5,000 pints in one night.
My God. The fans were like hilarious. I like the ones you could see from the game. It panned over, and they were so like. I saw a guy like there were three people dressed up as the three lions.
I
Which,
saw that.
yeah, it must have been fair enough. I must have been sweltering in that heat. There was another guy I saw who was like when they were I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Mr. Brightside, the song they're playing, and the guy was like cuddling his little World Cup trophy and crying, lip syncing to the words. There was some of the funniest fans.
Did you see they panned over to the World Cup guy?
Yeah.
He gets everywhere. I've met him in real life. He's actually he's a
Oh
really
wow.
sound guy. It's really sweet.
Well, look,
Yeah.
guys, I need to wrap up because actually I have another interview I have to do. But very good to chat with you today on the World Cup of Dreams, on the Theatres of Dreams. And Adam, you're welcome back anytime. I know you finished your work experience with us this week, but if you ever want to come back on, you'd be most welcome. You've been listening to Adam, you've been listening to Erin, you've been listening to me. This has been the Theatre of Dreams, World Cup of Dreams, and we'll be back on Friday, actually, with the Friday bunch talking about the World Cup as well. Thanks, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right.